Good morning, class 8. This is Kaushalya Rajpurohit, your English teacher, and today we will be discussing chapter My Earthquake Experience in Tokyo. It is an article written by Andrew Petrus. Andrew Petrus is a full-time professional photojournalist. He contributed this article to the Newsweek, or you can say Daily Beast Company LLC, an American infomedia company. In this chapter, he has shared his experience when he was in Tokyo. He experienced one of the deadliest earthquake happened in record in Japan, right? So he has just discussed that day, that experience in this article. So let us start.
I left my hotel room with my camera, excited to document the manic energy of Tokyo's sprawling megapolis.
So the writer is very excited as he is documenting the excitement of the large city Tokyo. There was no way I could have known that instead. I would end up taking picture one of the most frightening days of my life. So the writer is saying that he was very excited to take the picture of the big city Tokyo, but he had no idea that it will be a frightening day of his life and he will be taking the pictures of the most frightening day of his life. I had just emerged from the belly of Tokyo metro system. 4 floors beneath Shinjuku Station, the world's busiest train station, right? So he just went to the world's busiest station, Shinjuku Station, right? And it is 4 floors beneath the ground. Thousands of commutators and tourists jam parallel train platforms and shops in the arcade. As it was the busiest station, thousands of daily travelers and tourists jammed the parallel platforms, right? And there were also a number of shops in the arcade. It was around 3 p.m. I was lined up at the bullet train ticket counter to inquire about a trip to Nagoya, some 200 miles southwest to Tokyo, to shoot some photos there next day. So the writer was standing in a line of bullet train ticket counter to inquire about the trip to Nagoya, which was 200 miles to the southwest of Tokyo, to shoot some photos for the next day. It was then that I felt the ground move under me slightly. It was almost imperceptible, like a subway, right? So he felt certain movement on the ground, but it was not it was so small that he was unable to recognize it. Like a subway rumbling through a tunnel far beneath my feet, I ignored. So he ignored it because it was very small, as did everyone around him, and even everyone ignored it. Then, seconds later, a violent shuddering, a violent shake started. Things started crashing to the ground. Hanging from the ceiling began swinging violently. I looked at the elderly man next to me. He smiled back at me and said one word: earthquake. This time the ground was shaking more harder. It was an earthquake. I ran for the door about 60 feet away. The ground was shaking so violently that it was difficult to run in a straight line, like trying to sprint across the deck of a ship being tossed by the swells. Okay. After hearing from the old man, the writer ran for the door, which was about 60 feet away, but the floor was shaking, and He felt like running over a ship, right? Who was tossed by the waves. My heart was pounding when I reached the street and darted for a large park surrounded by the skyscrapers. My mind replayed the image of World Trade Center crashing to the ground. The noise was unreal. You could hear the buildings creak and groan. That is the sound made by building, right? As they shook in their foundation. I wanted to get as far away from these buildings as possible, but in Tokyo, finding any truly open space is virtually impossible. So, the writer wanted to escape to an open space, but to find an open space in Tokyo was next to impossible. I turned to look at the building that I had just run out of. It was convulsing uncontrollably. So the building he just left was shaking uncontrollably. You could still hear the ground rattling as thousands of people evacuated the buildings. I started to shoot photos of everything that was happening. I stood in that park for a good 2 hours, as did almost everyone else. During this time, the ground continued to tremble, albeit less violently. The writer stood in the park for almost 2 hours and he kept on taking pictures, right? Whatever was happening around, he kept on taking pictures, but the ground was, although shaking less violently in the park now. I would find out later that afternoon that the quake was of magnitude 8.9, the strongest earthquake to hit Japan in recorded history. So, the writer found out that it was the strongest earthquake that happened in Japan in history. He saw that some people were visibly shaken. There were few women crying, people pointing up at the buildings as they shook, but many others appeared calm and relaxed. Right? So there were different reactions shown by the people at that time. Making my way back to my hotel was epic journey. It was an eventful journey for him. The rail system in Tokyo was completely shut down and millions were trying to make their way home on foot. The streets were gridlocked, they were crowded with traffic. But I didn't learn how catastrophic the event had actually been until I got to my hotel. The coastal areas of Japan, especially a few hundred miles to north, were devastated beyond recognition by a tsunami. The coastal area was most affected. As I write this, the aftershocks are still hitting hard. I am dry land and yet I feel seasick. I have lived through many frightening days. I nearly drowned last year while whitewater rafting in Africa. But this earthquake will be forever burned in my memories as the most harrowing experience of all. I saw 100-story buildings sway like a palm trees in the wind as the earth revolted beneath my feet. Now I think I have seen it all. So the writer is saying that this is the most harrowing, this is the most painful, frightening experience of his life, right? Which he experienced on 11 March 2011 in Tokyo, Japan, right? So I hope you have understood the topic. Thank you.